Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Divine Cupid podcast. If you're new, I'm your host, India Watson, and if you're not new, welcome to my podcast and welcome back. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast episode. Happy Thursday. It's the day before Halloween and I'm recording this, and I'm honestly in a yap mood, so that's why I was like, okay, let me record a podcast episode. I'm in this filthy shirt because I just got off work and I threw off some pants. I wanted to record while I'm already in the yapping mood, before I take a shower and eat my Wingstop and watch the 7 Deadly Sins before I go to bed. But guys, I haven't recorded a podcast episode in a while. I have podcast episodes, but they were honestly from a really hard period for me, and I feel so awesome. I always talk about my emotions and oh, this is just not a good time, but literally when is it ever a good time? We're always going to be dealing with some shit. We're always going to be having our ups and downs. Even in the midst of good moments, we sometimes have really bad moments, even though everything can be good. I always talk about that in my life. I'm like, even though I'm doing good, I still have some bad moments. And I've been really learning a lot. I feel so good about myself. I feel so good about where I'm going, where I'm heading, and where my mindset is at, honestly. And I wasn't really feeling that way before. Now, what happened was I went through a little bit of breakup, I guess, a little breakup, and it was hard because I feel like the situation wasn't really the hardship wasn't really about the breakup, and it was hard, guys. It was not hard because it's like the world came crashing down, but it was sad. But it was more sad because of what it taught me about myself. Ending anything with anybody can be sad and hard and challenging, and I'm not gonna sit up here and be like it's picture perfect in my life, because nothing will ever be picture perfect in my life. But I learned a lot about myself through valuable experiences with valuable people that are in and out of my life, and I value that so much. I think that's not what the podcast episode is about. I think just before I even tell you what we're talking about, and I mean, obviously you know what we're talking about because you clicked the podcast episode, but the gist that I want you to take away from what I'm about to say before I even say it is there's a lesson to learn in everything, but there's no point of really learning the lesson without valuing the experience. I think you can be in hard things, hard places, hardships in your life, and you can't really resent you can't really resent the circumstance or the situation you're in, because then you won't have gratitude for how far you've come. If you hate the bad thing that you went through, you won't really learn to love what it made out of you. Hardships are meant to produce growth and change within people, and not all things are bad things. Not all breakups are bad breakups, and they don't make people bad people, and not everything is as negative as it seems, even though it feels bad and it sucks and it's a hard feeling, and sometimes we gotta deal with heavy shit, but you grow, and that's beautiful. And that's the overall lesson, is don't hate your circumstances even if they're bad, because they produce so much growth, and you will learn to have a sense of gratitude for how far you've come. You can't hate how bad things were. Now, let's get into the episode, guys. I wanted to really talk about a lot of things, because a lot of things have been on my mind. A lot of things have been on my heart, and I didn't really know how to form it into one podcast episode. I didn't really know if I should make subtopics, sub things, little things, or if I should just talk about one big thing. I think what my podcast episode is really what God has been teaching me in my life, because that's really important. I'm being an observer to my own circumstances and my own situations, and I'm not really looking at it with such a negative eye. I'm not really looking at things with the glass half full. I'm looking at them with the glass. I'm not really looking at things with the glass half empty. I'm looking at them with the glass half full. The first thing I learned about myself, the first thing God has taught me, and I've had so many midday realizations, but I think the biggest one is self-respect and how to respect myself. I think the way that you think of self-respect is, or most people think of self-respect, is knowing your worth. Knowing not to accept the bare minimum, knowing what you deserve, knowing when to walk away, knowing when to leave. And that's awesome because that is really what self-respect represents. But for me, I know how to do those things, and sometimes we're not always the best at it, but I know how to do them, and I'm pretty good at exercising those things. For me, self-respect has looked like respecting my space, respecting my privacy, respecting my own vulnerability, respecting my time, being intentional. That's what self-respect has looked like for me in my life. That's what God is teaching me. In order to really be the best version of yourself and to really show the utmost amount of self-love is to respect yourself. Respecting your spaces means like keeping a clean and tidy area. If I were to flip my camera around and show you my room, it looks a mess because I haven't had the time to devote myself to deep cleaning my space in the ways that feels refreshing. It's weird because I've always associated a dirty room with my depression. Whenever I'm really like going through a bad time in life, when I was younger, my room used to be filthy. I used to have to, and not even like, guys, I'm not like a dirty, like, you know, when people are like, I'm not food dirty, I'm clothes dirty. Like, my clothes would be everywhere. I would not do laundry. I still have a bad habit of not doing laundry. I hate laundry. I hate folding clothes. It's like the washer and dryer does its job. I love that. And then when it's my turn, it just sits there for a couple weeks. But no, I used to have clothes all over my floors. I literally, like, I would just have to like deep clean this room constantly, and it's gotten a lot better from my youth and my adolescence. But even just being in like a cluttery space, like if my sides are cluttery, if my other desk up here is cluttery, like I start getting overwhelmed and I start feeling anxious in my own space. I can't enjoy myself. I can't enjoy myself in a dirty room, even if it's to go to sleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's a mess in here. It's a mess. I'm starting to respect my planning. I'm starting to plan things, like not even just like make plans, like not even just to make plans, but to plan out my day, to have a schedule, to be intentional. That's what self-respect is looking like, intentionality in my own life. I can't expect people to, because honestly, the way that you treat yourself represents how you want to be treated. And I'm not treating myself with the same respect that I actually want out of relationships. It's like, I want these things out of people. I want these things out of friendships. I want these things out of the people around me, but I'm not really treating myself the way that I want to be treated. And that's a big representation, because we say treat others how you want to be treated, but you don't treat yourself how you want to be treated by other people. I think that's big. So I'm really being intentional with the things in my life. I don't want nothing to come in my life that is uncertain about me, that is uncertain about what it wants with me, that is uncertain about its intentions with me. I don't want anything in my life, in my space, in my circle with uncertainty. I want something that is definitive, that is to the point, that knows what it wants on paper and can write it down, visualize it, see it, and work towards it. And that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm setting goals that I can visualize, see, and work towards. I'm starting a plan on how I incorporate going to the gym in a way that I feel satisfied and get a sense of gratification out of going to the gym despite my busy schedule, because I haven't been able to figure that out. I've been having a set morning routine. I've really been trying to curate a really good morning routine that incorporates reading my Bible, stretching, and doing yoga. Sometimes journaling. I like to save journaling for at night, but sometimes I wake up really needing to journal. But as long as I really can like put effort into my appearance, like, oh my gosh, that's so big, because when I go to work, I have a morning job, and sometimes I just be rolling out of bed and showing up. And I want to be the best version of myself and represent myself the best way I can. Even if I have a day where I'm like, I really don't feel like getting ready, I still want to tend to myself. I still want to, it's not so much about looking my best or like being the best looking. I think it's so intimate to have a sit down time and like wash my face, do a skincare routine, intimate to do my makeup, intimate to have that one-on-one solitary time. That's something that we need to value a lot more. And that's why even at night, despite being tired, I have a night routine. Like I get off work now and it's like 11 o'clock, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. I mean, I'm lucky when I get off at 8:30, but I have those times where I'm like, I'm too tired. I don't really want to do anything but go to sleep. But it's like, it's important that I take a nice warm shower and allow my body to decompress. And it's important that I wash my face and I do like my face massages, my skincare routine, and I'm moisturizing my body, and I'm doing the things that I need to do to take care of myself, because then I wake up feeling refreshed, rejuvenated. I don't resent not having a sense of balance, routine, and cohesiveness in my own life. I always talked about when I was younger. If you were to listen to my old podcast episodes, I've talked about how I suck at consistency, how I hate routine, how it makes me feel robotic, how it makes me feel bad. We always had routine in our lives. I've just never been structured and consistent enough to keep up with it. And I've never liked routine because it made me feel robotic, but it's because I wasn't really doing it with intention. I was doing it because it felt like something I should do. I think in the time of 2020, it was really forced, this fake positivity. I don't even want to say like forced positivity, like forcing routines, forcing this lifestyle, because it felt like a trend. It felt like something we all should be doing. And honestly, self-love is best love. But that felt like a trend for the longest time. Like, it's popular to love yourself, and it's popular to have a morning routine and a night routine and this and that, and work out and do core and all of these things. Because it was like, we have nothing better to do, might as well pour energy into yourself. But when it's a chore, it's not really going to last. It's not going to stick. It's not going to stay. But when it's a want and it's a desire, and it's like you really can't stand this version of yourself that you are, it becomes something that, which I even want to talk about that, because I feel like when you do things that's like, I don't like this version of myself, that doesn't stick, honestly. That mindset doesn't stick. It's like you get to a point where you're finally like, okay, I like this version of myself. So do you stop doing what you're doing? That's the weird thing about like patterns, habits. Like, intention is so important, because it's like, are you doing this because it makes you feel good, or are you doing it until you actually get to a point where it's like, okay, this is good enough, and then you stop, and then you honestly just fall right back into where you were, because it's like you got to a point, it's like you're getting far, you're like, all right, this is a good stopping point, and you never return. So it's like, good example, it's like I'm reading a book and I'm really enjoying the book. The book is good, but I get to a point in the book where I'm like, all right, this is kind of boring. So I stop reading the book and I put the book down. Then I get in my mind and I'm like, oh, like, I want to reread this book. And it's been 7 months. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about this book. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. But I honestly don't remember anything that happened in the book. I don't understand the page that I'm starting on. I don't remember what happened in the last chapter. I don't remember what happened in the last 5 chapters. So now I have to start the book all over again because I don't remember. And I get to the same exact point that I stopped, and I put the book down because I'm bored again. And that pattern will continue on and on and on until I get to the point where I stopped in the middle, and I'm like, I'm going to keep going despite this period of, I feel like I have a good gist, or I feel like I understand, or I feel like this is good enough. Like, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to make it to the end. And that's the best example that I can give you, because that's sometimes how patterns and habits look in our lives when we get to a point where we're like, I'm okay with this. This is good. This is great. I like this. I fudge with this. And we stop. And that never really bodes well for us. So I've been really like working on my intentionality with everything in my life. Yeah. Also, another thing that I've really been working on is appearance. Honestly, the lessons that I've been learning have so much to do with like the way that my heart, I feel like, is doing a 180. Yeah, 180. For a really long time in my life, I've always felt like I needed to have like lashes on and makeup. I know I have lashes on today. It's not really a good example, but I have lashes on today, right? And for the entire week, I was like, okay, I'm not going to wear lashes. I actually went to work in the morning without lashes on, but at my other job, I was like, all right, I'm going to just do like a little bit of makeup, whatever. And I have always felt like I needed to be beautiful in a way that society was like, this is beautiful. I know I don't really do my makeup. I've always felt kind of like, oh, maybe I should have a makeup routine. Maybe I should be doing makeup like everybody else around me is doing it, and they got full beads and they look bomb. They look so tea. So I'm like, maybe I could look just as tea, like just as bad, just as good. So I've tried to start getting into makeup. I've tried to start being like, oh, like, let me do this, that, and the third. And I have gotten to a point where I feel extremely beautiful without lashes on. That sounds probably really stupid to some people. Like, what do you mean, girl, you feel beautiful without no lashes? Like, no mascara, no makeup, no lashes, no nothing. Literally bald-eyed, nothing on these eyeballs. And I feel so cute. Like, I went to work today. I was like, I look so cute. Like, I feel so cute. I feel so pretty. Like, it feels good to feel comfortable in your own skin. It feels good to look at yourself and think, oh my gosh, like, I love the way that I look. And I don't mean to say that in a sense of like, oh my gosh, like, it's not normal to be insecure, because it's so normal to be insecure. It took me a really long time to kind of get to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is what I love. I always used to be a natural person. Like I never would wear makeup. The most I would do is like some lip gloss, and it wouldn't even be like lip tint or nothing. It would just be clear gloss, and like I would feel cute. I would feel really pretty. I would take pictures and feel like the cutest thing in the world. And I got to a point in my life where that really wasn't serving me, and I started to compare myself to other people, and I started to feel like I was inferior and I was ugly and I wasn't as pretty as I thought I was. So I needed to do those things. And I'm at a point in my life where I know like beauty is so subjective to where you can look at me and say you're ugly, and I can look at myself and think I'm beautiful, and it doesn't really matter what another person thinks about me because I have the self-assurance in my own beauty. I'm trying so hard to not be vain and conceited, because I feel like when I look at myself and do the things that I do kind of roar up a kind of vain and conceited energy off sometimes, and I don't really like that. I don't really feel like that is a good quality to have and a good characteristic to possess. It's really great to know like I'm an attractive individual and I feel attractive with lashes, without lashes, whatever, but I don't think it's an attractive quality to feel like all you are is beauty. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned about myself too. And this isn't even like, I know I started this podcast episode talking so much about like how I got out of this like situationship or whatever, but this is honestly just lessons that the situationship opened the door to the lessons I needed to learn about myself and the things that I needed to learn about myself, because I'm in this place where I believed like I was so put together. And I hope that as I was talking, it didn't seem like I was trying to speak negative about the situationship I was in or the relationship I was in, because there was nothing negative about it. Honestly, I think, like I said, it opened a lot of doors to the change that I needed to do on myself, because for the longest of my life, I felt like I had my shit together. I really did. I felt like I had my shit together, and I had told myself, I had been yearning, honestly, for a relationship so long in my life that I think it went tunnel vision. It went tunnel vision quick. And I believed that for a really long time, when I got into a relationship or when a relationship met me, I would be ready, and it would be go. It would be go. It would be great. It would be awesome. I genuinely believe like I've worked on myself so much to the max that when this finds me, it will be the best thing I've ever had and the best thing that I will ever get. Not the best thing I will ever get, but it'll be the thing that I've been praying for and seeking for. And it was the thing I was praying for, but it really opened a lot of doors to the fact that I'm not as put together as I thought I was. I wrote in my notes, I was talking to God one day and I put in my notes like, God, I felt like I was so put together, and now I feel like I'm in bits and pieces. And that's so uncomfortable for me. I feel so disproportionate because I've been spending so much time pouring into this cup, and I felt like, all right, the cup is full and I've done all the things that I need to do. And the cup spilled over, and I was like, you need to pour into it again, and you need to start over. And it was really hard because I felt like I worked so hard. Why do I need to start over? And I'm not starting over. It just goes to show and tell you that healing is not linear. Healing does not stop. Healing does not get to a point of perfection. It's something that is ongoing and never changing. You're always going to have to do it. And it's such an uncomfortable and painful process. I've cried a lot because I realized so many things about myself that I was like, damn. Make it stop, please. Make it stop. I'm done. Turn me off. Cut the cameras. Like, I genuinely was like, bro, this is too much. And I remember like I was renting my best friend, and I was like, bro, I feel like I just want to take the easy way out. Like, find me a distraction, find me something that I can just take my mind off of everything. Like, find me a party, find me something. Like, I don't want to pay attention to what is going on internally and what I'm feeling. I want to put my energy elsewhere. I would have picked up so many shifts just to not think about what's going on. And honestly, filling your life up with distractions is not going to produce any kind of productivity. It's just going to push the problem to the back burner, and you're going to learn to suppress. You're learning suppression. What is suppression doing for you? Nothing. It's going to make the problem come up in a different time, in the most inconvenient time and aspect for you than it ever could come up. And so, yeah. But I've really been working through so much to just change. And not in a way that's physical, but in a way that's emotional, and like my character, like me, my heart. I think that was the biggest thing that I really had told myself. I literally was like laying in bed, and I was like, I spent a lot of time trying to look good. I spend a lot of time trying to look good. I want to be the baddest. Like, hello, who don't want to be the baddest? Like, I spend a lot of time trying to look good. I spend a lot of time spending money on clothes. I spend a lot of time spending money on hair products. I spend a lot of money on hair, girl. This is expensive. I spend a lot of money on hair. I spend a lot of money on a lot of things, trying to look the best, be awesome, be amazing. But what's all that if your heart is ugly? And I was like, I don't think I have an ugly heart, but it's not the prettiest. And I didn't like that. I sat with myself and I was honest about myself. I was like, I'm judgmental sometimes. I'm mean. I'm not understanding. I always try to defend myself. I always try to explain myself. And I'm asking myself why. Like, why am I like this? And you have to sit with yourself and you got to be hard on yourself. I seen a video on TikTok that was like, she was like, one thing I'm learning in my 20s is that being a mother to myself means criticizing myself as well. Because yes, you have parents, and I love my parents. I love my parents, and my parents are always on me, but nobody knows me inside out like I know myself. Even though I don't know myself to its completeness, I know me. And sometimes people don't really clock you the ways that you need to clock. You need to be clocked. So you gotta clock yourself. Clock it. You gotta clock yourself. Sorry, was that cringy? Was that weird? But no, you really have to be harsh. You have to be strict, and you have to be blunt with who you are, because that's the only thing that's gonna permit change in your life. Like, if I look at myself and I say like you're being a cunt, I'm not really saying like, hey girl, you're so cunt. Like, no, you're being a horrible person right now, and you need to fix it. Because sometimes you need that hard self-awareness. I really don't care what nobody says. You need to be hard. Not so hard on yourself, but you need to be honest with yourself about who you are, how you are, and how that person is interacting and acting with other people. I feel so good in my life because I'm changing in a way that I didn't think I needed to change. I didn't think I needed to change. I really didn't. I thought it was perfect. And that's so weird, because I really would say like I really would neglect a lot of accountability in spaces, because I'd be like, I'm honestly perfect, girl. I don't do nothing wrong. Like, what you talk about? But no, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And that's okay. It's okay. I've learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of things that I would not go back and do over. And I think that's also a real decision. I've said so many times, like, God, if you gave me this situation, I would do it all the same again and get exactly to where I am. To make this, I would make the same mistakes, and I would promise the same change. I experienced and enjoyed so many things despite the mistakes that I made, and it made me who I am today. It gave me something to learn from, something to talk about, something to guide and help somebody else not go through the same thing. I don't know, your mistakes bring lessons, and it brings knowledge on how to go forward and how not to make the same mistakes again. So like, honestly, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about me. I'm just grateful, honestly. And I've been like wanting to talk about that because I've just been feeling really good. Like, I feel really good. Like, I'm happy. I'm really happy. Despite any negative thing that happens in my life, I'm still blessed. Like, God is still so good to me. I wake up every day with an opportunity to live and breathe. I have so much joy in my jobs. I wake up every day tired as hell. I'm so tired. I wake up at 5 a.m. I wake up at 5 a.m. I've been trying to, at least, girl. I've been trying. But I wake up at 6 on a good day. I wake up at 6. Like when people ask, I wake up at 5. But in reality, I sleep till 6. I wake up at 6. And I don't get home till like 10 o'clock. 6 to 10. I'm tired. I go to the gym throughout the day. I do my homework. I'm a full-time student. 2 jobs. Back-to-back jobs. Not back-to-back. I get like a little like 2-hour break. But I'm working hard. I bust my ass. And I don't complain about it because I'm so grateful. Like, my job, my morning job, honestly, like, I don't really talk about it a lot, but it's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. I make my life motto to be everything that I wanted as a child and adult, because I was not the child that felt comfortable harboring deep relationships and connections with adults. I was scared of adults. I was like, building a relationship with an adult feels so crazy. Like, what? Oh my God, I'm not doing that. Like, that was weird. And I always would look at people around me and I'd be like, I can't believe like you actually like laugh and giggle with your teachers. Like, my teachers hated me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. Like, from elementary school to like 7th grade, my teachers literally hated me. I was a teacher's worst nightmare. Like, I was such a bad kid. I was so bad. I was so disrespectful. I was so rude. And I really thought, like, hey, I'm that girl. And as I got older, I was like, okay, so disrespecting adults is not funny, cute, or cool. And I don't really like that. Like, just because an adult is bad to you doesn't mean I learned a little bit of respect. I calmed down a lot. And then when I got to high school, I still had like a lot of hard time trusting the adults in my life. It's not like anything happened, like traumatizing happened to me to where I couldn't trust an adult. I just thought it was weird. I thought it was really weird to trust an adult, to trust somebody older than me like that. Like, no. Especially as a really independent person. I was like, I don't really need nobody's help. I got it. Like, I'm good. And I started building relationships with adults, like telling them things, like really like opening up and like develop. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I love my job. I love my job. I love working with kids so much. And I've found my passion in what I'm doing, and that feels fulfilling too, because I've spent a lot of my life pondering and thinking like I don't really know what I want to do. I've always been an indecisive person. Like, I've wanted to be a photographer. I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be governor. I wanted to get into politics. I'm so politic crazy. Like, I love politics. I love talking about it, learning about it. I love history. Like, I love history. I love English. I wanted to incorporate and combine the two in my life. And I was like, no, I'm not going to school for this long. But I've learned like what I want to do in life because of my jobs. And I feel so happy, like truly so happy. I'm so grateful for the things that I've experienced in my life. I'm so grateful for the people in my life and that are no longer in my life. I never want to seem like I harbor any negative feelings or ill will in anything, because I miss and mourn everything that was in my life. I'm such a deep and sensitive person in the same time, where I try to pretend that I'm not. I truly am. And I love and care so much for everything that's ever walked in and out of my life. And I hold no regrets to nothing, because it's brought me to where I am today. And I just hold so much gratitude for that. I'm so grateful. Yeah, that's the podcast episode. Honestly, I hope it was beneficial. I hope it helped somebody. I don't know. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you enjoyed. At least, I know it's been a month since a podcast episode has touched the YouTube screen and the Apple Music screen and the Spotify screen. So yeah, love and miss everything in my life, and I value it and cherish it, and I'm very happy and content in where I am. So that's today's podcast episode. I will see you guys next Monday. Have a great day. Goodbye.